When you invited me for this session, I took it as a big yes, because as I told you, my M.AD school saved kind of my life twice. So I owe it to the school. So the first time was when I was mistakenly in the wrong college, but I stumbled upon like an advertising annual, and then almost like in the Pulp Fiction scene, when they opened the bag, there was this light coming, and I was like, I need to do this. Where do I learn? So that was the first time my med school kind of gave me a direction and taught me how to think fast and think in terms of ads. And the second time, so I dropped college now to do my med school. And the second time was when I decided to do the quarter away. Back then, it has a different name now, but somehow saved my life because it was the anchor I needed to actually start an international experience. So I did an internship at M.AD in Hamburg. And after that, my career kind of took off internationally. I moved to Berlin, where I'm still today. And so that was part of my history as a student, but I've kept almost like an umbilical cord to the school ever since, because once at DDB Berlin, I pushed it hard so we could have the M.AD school students there. And being a creative director a few years afterwards, as a creative director, you obviously are super busy, you have tons of meetings, but I always took the time myself to be close to the students mostly because of empathy. Like, I knew how it felt to be an intern, all your insecurities, all your fears. You have limited time in the place, so you really want to make an impression and learn. And I'm very happy because as a result of that, because you get to learn a lot from the students. Usually when you're a creative director, you also don't have the time to see all the new tech, everything that is happening in the world. And this is what the students also bring to you, this freshness. As you were saying, also, people, each student comes with a one tagline that separates them from all the rest. And this is what we also encourage, come as you are, don't try to fit too much in the formula. And then in 2018, so 3 years ago, me and my lifelong creative partner, Gabriel Matar, we opened the Innocean Berlin office, as the name says, here in Berlin. And again, I pushed it hard so we could have the students since day one, but we had so many other priorities in the beginning, like, creating a name for a nameless agency, or setting the right number of clients and putting them in their right creative way. But on the second year, which was 2019, we opened for the students. And I must confess, it was hard in the beginning. Like, it was not amongst the top priority of the students. Again, Innocean Berlin was not a name that anyone coveted, right? But if we fast forward to today, and as I hear, we are, if not the first, or always the second option for students. And the main reason for that is we have the right amount of people in the office. So you're always exposed to the front line, right? You will see production from beginning to the end. You are involved in all the briefs, no matter how big they are, no matter if they're social briefs, no matter if they're, whatever nature. But just like I used to do at DDB, I make sure that I'm very close to the students. First, because of the empathy, and second, because I'm a selfish bastard. I need to get the input. I need to get the input from the students. It's funny how you see 80% of them very insecure in the beginning. And again, as I was in their shoes back in Hamburg, I still know how it feels. So what we do is that we create a super safe environment where I try to cut, as I'm an executive creative director today, I get rid of the creative directors, of the seniors, of the mid-levels, and at least once every 3 weeks, I sit with each team and I hear how they're doing, give them feedback. We have like a mid internship review of their ideas also towards the end of the internship. And as a result from that, we get the best interns, and we also managed to hire 5 out of the students and once they are done with the school. So I didn't come here to pitch the agency, but I owe it to you guys. As I said, my M.AD school came to São Paulo, and there was a synchronicity with me trying to find like this best form to put ideas on paper. And Paulo Andrés here is my witness. My interview to enter the school was catastrophic. He was like, Ricardo, you have 0 chance right now to have ideas, but I'll give you the chance to come. And in 3 to 4 quarters, I already had my book done. I was obsessed with the annuals, and really the creative I've become, I owe it a lot to school. Reason why I also became a teacher later on. I think I was the first Skype teacher to my M.AD school São Paulo directly from Brazil, back before Zoom times. So yeah, that's my rant. If you guys have any questions later, we have time for Q&A. I'm happy to stay. And my word to the students is go explore. It's not only about the ads, is this osmosis experience you have by being in a foreign land, under pressure, and ideas you can have anywhere. You can be sitting in your toilet, you can be sitting in Tokyo, you can be sitting in Sri Lanka. Great ideas will always see the light of day, but once you are outside of your box, you make better connections, you are more exposed to different things. So take this experience and go. For me, it was a life-changing one. I'll tell you what, the great thing about having an agency that has no history is that we're building our own as we go, and that we have the total liberty to do that. Mine, it does not, if I was a DDB, I would have Bill Benbach, or Ogilvy. We had David Ogilvy. I like Jean-Paul Sartre, right? He says, you are condemned to be free. In the agency, we live creatively by this rule that if you don't have ideas, basically it's your problem. We are here to facilitate your ideas, not to be the asshole bosses or to put you in the corner. What we really want is for you in 3 months' time to move out either with something that goes on production, or at least spec ideas that you can have in your book. Like, I don't want you to lose your time. Basically, this is how I tick as a creative, and this is how I tick as a boss. We're not here to make friends. We're here to work together, to have fun together. But in the end of the day, dude, if you don't stay here, I want you to go to Tokyo and tell good things about Innocean and vice versa. So about this philosophy, what I mean is, we clear all the excuses. We clear politics. We clear the bureaucratic levels. Oh, I'm just an intern. It's idiocracy. If you have a great idea, and then you could ask to a couple of interns that we had. It doesn't matter if it comes from you, from the ACD, from the CD. We'll fight for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Ricardo. My agency in particular is with Ana Hidalgo from the one that I'm applying in Madrid.
Alex, that you mentioned. Thanks. Potential, I think, is the first one. I particularly have 0 patience to go through books. I go in the about, I see if there's personal work, and I read a bit about the person's background. and if you have any Burger King ideas or not. I think every student has 3 Burger King ideas. I don't want to see that, honestly. I look for the person's background because, again, maybe I'm pitching the agency now, but we are extremely international, and I value this carousel view into the world. We have from India to Thailand to Brazil to Canada. We have all sorts of nationalities. What I do look is also a bit of this range. If you can think of a nice simple print ad that has a strong concept that you can write a radio script, or you can do like a crazy Burger King idea as well. But what I always tell the students is, you haven't had time to produce anything for real, and you don't have like the money to do something extremely crafted unless you're like a designer or you play with words in your copyright. But when you stripe the students from these 2 tools or pieces of luggage, what you're left with is really like the DNA of the person. Where is he or she coming from? And what my first question to every student that I can interview when there's a chance is, when I was a student, things were very different. 15 years ago, the world has changed a lot in advertising, even more. Back then, if you wanted to have ideas and get paid for them, advertising would be, I think, your first choice. But now, you can either have a really great idea and patent it and become a millionaire instead of sell it to the agency. My question to every student is like, why are you in love with this profession? And if you give me the right answer, you have a place in the office. Like, what is it? You want to move people's heart, you want to make them laugh, you believe communication has the power to change pop culture. What is it? From all the range of things you could be doing today with your mind, why advertising? So that is my filter.
If it's him, it just makes the quote better. But it says that creativity is knowing how to hide your sources. So for me, I think everything you guys said, it's key, but also see, read, listen, watch as much as you can. I think more than ever, we are in a business where AI is coming and, are they going to take our jobs? Are they not? What we need to keep on selling, and that's why we always need people, is emotions, is ideas, So as Daniela said, when you, or Alex, I don't remember, when you are on a walk and your mind unplugs, and then you start making connections of different things that you said. Maybe you found an old M.AD magazine in your parents' house, but you also watched like an Orthodox, like a series, and then suddenly, poof, there's a connection made there. I think you just need to keep on being curious, to quote Steve Jobs, in a way, foolish and curious. You need to see as much, to force yourself maybe to know things that you don't. And maybe since we're talking about here, the point of this chat is about the program. Personally, for me, traveling has always been the biggest source of inspiration. I know your question was more like, when we have like a gap between being busy and doing acrobat courses, whatever. But when you throw yourself, like I know thousands of headlines in my mind from looking at books, annual books, but there's one that always sticks to my brain, and I don't remember for which client was it. I think it was for travel agency, but the headline said, "After this trip, the unknown will have one less place to hide." So you have to keep, lighting the dark. Every time you travel, you come back as a richer person. And that's what this course does to you. Like you are, yes, I remember being in Infomat in Hamburg in 2006. One of the reasons I chose to go to Hamburg was the World Cup was happening in Germany. But I look back at those 3 months as the coolest of my life, and I kid you not, because it was a bombardment of novelties in and outside the agency. You step outside the agency and you have a different language, a different culture, other people who are also, you know, lost in the sea of wanting to know who they are. And you make friends that you know, you keep for a lifetime later. So if you can push yourself to be outside of your comfort zone intellectually, but also physically, I think that will, I value, at least to finish my rap, I value a lot people who have undergone major changes in their life, because, you know, that is what makes people survive. It's not the strongest, but the ones that adapt to a brief, the ones who adapt to a city, the ones that are constantly evolving. Can I start with that one? Now I'll drop the mic. So at the office, we're trying to find ways to dribble the non-physical space. So every week we have something called, I have to write it down, I always forget. It's called the Interns, Juniors, Working Students Show, where every Thursday, either my M.AD School interns or working students or the other ones are the juniors, they show us, they build almost like a late night show, and they show memes, they show ads from the countries they come from or whatever. And every 2 weeks we have one thing called Every Other Wednesday. It never happens on a Wednesday, and it's nothing like anyone else does. We just bring someone to inspire us for 1 hour. Sometimes it goes for 2 hours. And the last guest, and I'm basically using this to approach my heroes and to get them to speak at the office. So the last speaker, and I want you to please write this down. His name is Ji Lee. It's Jilee, and he has a website that is called pleaseenjoy.com. That's it. And now I go to your answer. So this guy, I get just goosebumps to talk about him, because I follow his work as almost like in a stalking mania since 15 years. So he started in a design studio, and then suddenly he did one personal project, which got him a job at Droga 5, personally invited by David Droga when Droga 5 was the hottest thing ever. It's still a very good agency, but was wow. He did a project called the Bubble Project, and he was just mentioning this to us in this speech, right? His whole presentation was about the role of personal project versus the role of professional projects. And he's today, right now, creative director of both Facebook and Instagram. But you go into his page and you see, like 30 personal projects that are amazing. And that tells so much about the guy. But to answer your question, this one specific personal project he did was so much a personification of his own beliefs, because at that time he was a art director at Saatchi & Saatchi 2002-3, which was also a very good agency. But he was getting so buried under the bureaucratic decisions of the agency, his ideas will never see the light of day, that he did a personal project with basically mocked advertising. He started to put empty speech bubbles in ads all over New York, and that was some sort of a personal revenge. That laid him the best seat inside an agency. So the beautiful thing about a personal project in a incoming talent or a student is there's no formula yet, advertising formula yet holding you back. Your personal project is nothing but, you know, a personification of whoever you are or or what you believe in. And that for me has way more, you have no excuses to say, oh, I had to adapt to this tonality of the brand or not. A nice personal project is worth 1,000 points. A good Burger King idea is worth 50.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and I hope that you enjoyed. My name is Tyler. I'm going to be one of the admissions advisors helping you guys to start your creative careers here with the Miami Ad School with our 4 portfolio programs: art direction, copywriting, photography and video, and design, as well as our boot camps. We are well equipped to make you well equipped for the creative industry. And my job is to help you transition smoothly from prospective to enrolled student. We have financial aid and scholarships available for all of our portfolio programs, and our 4 U.S. locations, Miami, Atlanta, San Francisco, and New York, as well as our international locations, are ready for you guys to go ahead and enroll when you are ready. So feel free to go to our website, www.miamiadschool.com, hit apply now, start your application, and if you have any questions, set up a call and we will be happy to help you.